Alright folks, here we go. The lineup for next season's Scottish Premiership is officially locked in. And let's just say it's already stirring up some chatter well before the season even kicks off. On the one hand, we've got Livingston making their way back into the top flight, and on the other, Ross County have unfortunately dropped out. Now, depending on your perspective, there's good and bad in that. The upside, when Celtic travel to face Livingston, we'll be getting a whole lot more tickets allocated compared to the limited handful we'd scraped together at Ross County. The downside, well, if you're looking at a screen or have seen any photos, online you already know what I'm on about. That bloody pitch. Let's get stuck into it. Livingston have confirmed they're laying down a brand new surface ahead of the season, but don't get too excited just yet. They're switching from one artificial pitch to another artificial pitch. That's right, same type of surface, different name. According to the club, it's the next generation of synthetic grass, something they're calling MX Elite, which is supposedly this high-tech woven system that offers top-level performance for professional football. It's being laid down at the newly renamed Setfair Arena. Aye, that's what they're calling the old Tony Macaroni Arena now. Honestly, who's naming these stadiums sounds more like a budget airline than a football ground. So with Livingston sticking to artificial turf, that means Celtic will once again be playing league matches on 3 synthetic pitches next season. Alongside Livingston, we've got Falkirk, newly promoted from the Championship, who play at the Falkirk Stadium, also plastic, and of course Kilmarnock at Rugby Park. Now here's where it gets interesting. Kilmarnock had originally intended to rip up their plastic pitch and go back to a proper grass surface in time for the upcoming season, but those plans have been put on hold. They're now saying it'll be done in time for the following season. Not this one. And just for context, remember that all Premiership clubs have voted to ban artificial pitches from the top flight starting in the 2026-2027 season. That's still the plan. So in theory, this coming season should be the final one with any of these surfaces in the league. Still, Falkirk apparently aren't going down without a fight. They've already hinted that they'll challenge the league's ruling on banning synthetic pitches. Hopefully, that's a challenge that doesn't go anywhere, because frankly, the sooner we're rid of these surfaces, the better. For Celtic, that means we're looking at somewhere between 3 and 6 matches next season on these plastic pitches. And everyone knows how those games tend to go. It's never ideal. But if the ban stays firm, this should be the last year we have to put up with it. And here's the thing that really makes you scratch your head. Why are Livingston investing in a new artificial pitch now knowing full well that if they manage to stay up, and that's not an impossibility by any stretch, they'll only be allowed to use it for a single season? Seems like a strange move. Either they're incredibly optimistic about some future rule change, or they've just decided to spend the money regardless. Either way, it's hard to make sense of it, especially with the league's artificial pitch ban looming just around the corner. Now, when we talk about Livingston, it's near impossible not to bring up the pitch. Honestly, it's always part of the conversation, and for good reason. That surface changes the entire dynamic of a match. It's unpredictable, it's tough on the players, and it takes away from the type of football Celtic try to play. But having said that, one of the upsides of playing there is the support. We do get a good number of fans into the Setfair Arena, as awkward as that name is. And you know, if it were grass like it used to be, it wouldn't be a bad away day at all. It's a compact ground, the atmosphere can be decent, and the travel isn't the worst. But that pitch just overshadows everything. As for the teams dropping out, well, St. Johnstone are gone, and I've got to be honest, there's no hard feelings there, nothing personal against them, but I won't be losing any sleep over their absence. Ross County, on the other hand, is a bit of a shame. It's always been nice having a Highland club in the Premiership. There's something unique about those long away trips up north, and they've had some decent spells in the top flight. But that's football. It's brutal. Sometimes, and unfortunately, they just didn't do enough to stay up. While we're on the subject of pitches, there's been a fair bit going on at Celtic Park as well. If you've not seen it yet, the pitch has been completely dug up. They're putting in a brand new surface ahead of the new season, and it's about time. There's some brilliant drone footage flying about, courtesy of Gio, top lad who always delivers great match day photos, and last week he was out with a drone capturing the state of play at Paradise. As of now, it's basically just soil and a couple of tractors, but that's the start of something better. Let's be real here, the pitch at Celtic Park hasn't always been in great shape, especially over the last decade or so. There have been persistent issues. You might even remember Brendan Rodgers during his first spell talking about a disease affecting the hybrid pitch around 2019. Since then, there have been all sorts of inconsistencies, and this past season was no exception. It looked a bit bobbly at times, especially in the colder months. And when you consider the kind of passing football Celtic try to play, having a quality surface is absolutely crucial. It's not just about aesthetics. It affects every pass, every touch, every movement. The good news is Celtic have a solid window of time to get it sorted. The next home game isn't scheduled until the friendly against Newcastle United on the 19th of July, so that gives the ground staff close to 8 weeks to get the new surface laid and properly bedded in. They're not wasting any time. And rightly so. It's a priority, and with Rangers winning the new SPFL Pitch of the Season award, it might just give the board that extra bit of motivation. We can take the mick all day about Rangers winning something, but make no mistake, inside Celtic, losing out to them in any category lights a fire. Even if it's something off the pitch, or technically on it. And speaking of upgrades, over at Barfield, things are progressing, albeit a wee bit slower than originally planned. For those who don't know, Barfield's undergoing a full redevelopment. It was meant to be completed by September or October last year, but there's been a delay, and now it's expected to be finished in the next few weeks. Once done, it'll be the new training ground for the Celtic women's team, as well as the boys and girls academy setups. The location's perfect, just a short walk from Celtic Park, and it's going to be a real asset for the club long term. There are multiple pitches going in, including an indoor facility, and they're even digging up some of the old ones to make way for the new surfaces. Again, shout out to Gio for keeping us all updated with the aerial views. Now, just before we wrap this part up, there's one more bit of news that had fans talking yesterday. The Celtic FC Foundation dropped a wee teaser online with a message that read, "We're getting the band back together. See you September 6, 2025. Love, Celtic FC Foundation." That's all they said. Naturally, speculation went wild. Some folks were wondering if it was going to be some sort of big Celtic reunion or even a rebel music festival at Glasgow Green. Though that seems a bit far-fetched. What seems far more likely is another one of those charity matches. The date they picked, 6th of September, falls during an international break, which is exactly when these kinds of matches usually happen. We've done them before and they've been really well received. Last season, we had one at Old Trafford against Manchester United, and the year before that, it was Liverpool at Anfield. Both events had massive turnouts and raised a good bit of money for charity while giving fans a chance to see some old favorites in action again. But it's not like the charity matches of old where it'd be random celebrities jogging about. These games are taken a bit more seriously now. The players are usually under a certain age, still relatively fit, and the matches are a lot more competitive. So my guess it'll be either Liverpool or United again, but this time at Celtic Park. We'll wait and see. Elsewhere in Celtic news, we had an update on the goalkeeping situation, or at least the backup end of it. It's now more or less confirmed that Scott Bain will be allowed to leave the club this summer. This isn't exactly shocking to anyone who's been paying attention. He's still got a year left on his contract, but after slipping to third choice and not featuring at all last season, it's understandable that he's keen to move on and get more regular minutes elsewhere. And fair play to Celtic. They're not going to stand in his way. There's mutual respect there, and after serving the club for years, he deserves the chance to play. In terms of who might replace him, all signs are pointing towards Ross Doohan. Remember him, former Celtic Academy keeper, now at Aberdeen. He was on the bench for them in the Scottish Cup final on Saturday, but hasn't seen much game time. For him, a move back to Celtic, even if it's just his third choice, probably means better wages and a higher profile. Even if he's unlikely to see competitive minutes unless something goes dramatically wrong. And that's the thing with third choice. Keepers, barring some kind of disaster, they're more about training ground presence and squad registration rules than actual match contribution. There was a bit of chat around whether Celtic might just promote someone from the B team instead of signing Doohan. But when you think about it, it makes sense to go for an external option. The B team keeper needs to be playing regular football. And first team, B team fixtures often clash, especially midweek. If we promote the B team's number one to the senior squad, we lose him for those academy matches. So bringing in Doohan would solve that cleanly. Plus, he ticks that homegrown quota box, which becomes even more important with Bain going out. But while it's good to see Celtic tidying up those backup roles early in the window, let's be honest, it's not exactly the area we're most desperate to strengthen. The real focus from the fans is on a new striker and potentially some clarity on the left back situation. Speaking of which, nothing yet on Greg Taylor. Radio silence since the end of the season. No farewell message, no contract renewal, no transfer announcement. It's all very Celtic. After a tough result on Saturday, the club's gone quiet online as they often do. But surely we'll hear something soon. Either he's leaving and the club is lining up a replacement, or he's staying and we just haven't been told yet. And that's kind of the mood right now, isn't it? The season's barely over, but attention is already shifting to what comes next. Transfers, pitch, upgrades, pre-season plans, all of it. The hope is that we don't get caught sleeping again. The window will open soon enough, and the best clubs act fast. So let's see what Celtic have up their sleeve in the coming weeks. A few smart moves early on would go a long way to steadying the ship and setting us up for a stronger campaign. For now, we wait, but hopefully not for too long. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. There's a stirring in the East End of Glasgow as rumours swirl around Celtic's reported capture of IBRAHIMA Sisssoko, the towering Franco-Malian midfielder. Whispers from both sides of the channel suggest the Hoops may be on the verge of securing what many are already calling the FRANCO-MALIAN wall for the heart of their midfield. At 193 mates, tall and known for his imposing physical presence, Sissoko has long been admired for his defensive prowess, intelligent positioning, and calm distribution under pressure. The 26-year-old has quietly carved out a reputation as one of League One's more consistent holding midfielders, having plied his trade at Strasbourg with over 150 appearances to his name, while there's been no official confirmation from either. Celtic Park or Strasbourg, sources close to the situation hint that the player has agreed to personal terms and that a medical could be imminent. Some observers have gone as far as to suggest Sissoko has already been spotted in Glasgow's West End, though those claims remain unverified. If the deal does indeed materialize, it would mark a significant coup for Brendan Rodgers' side, addressing a position many supporters and pundits alike have identified as needing reinforcement. Celtic's recent European campaigns have highlighted the need for a physically dominant figure in midfield, capable of breaking up play and shielding the defense, a role Sissoko seems tailor-made to fill. However, others urge caution, pointing out that transfer dealings often take unpredictable turns, especially with Premier League clubs rumored to be monitoring Sissoko's situation. Could a late swoop from south of the border scupper the Hoops' plans? Or is this deal all but sealed, with Sissoko poised to don the famous green and white Hoops? For now, Celtic fans will be watching the news wires with bated breath, hoping that this latest piece of transfer speculation solidifies into the kind of signing that can anchor their midfield for seasons to come. One thing is certain, the rumor mill is churning at full speed, and Parkhead could soon be welcoming a new defensive rock in the shape of IBRAHIMA Sisssoko. Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.